Okay. So good morning, second graders. How are we today?
Good.
We're good. Okay, so today we're going to explore some opinions and reasons. So I know you've already done some opinion writing, so we're just going to touch on it a little bit more. We're going to learn even more. We're going to make our skills that much stronger. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, so through our opinion writing, we're going to answer this super important question. And the question would be, what are the 3 most courageous experiences in Cesar Chavez's life? So in our book, we're going to learn all about him. So we'll get to that. But before we write our paragraph, our opinion paragraph, we're going to pre-write. So to pre-write, we're going to talk, we're going to read, we're going to take notes about what we're going to write about. Okay, so by the end of our lesson today, you'll kind of fill out a graphic organizer in your notebooks that'll look kind of similar to this, okay, and that will prepare you for a paragraph that you guys may end up writing, but today, again, we're just going to do the pre-writing stage. So to pre-write, just one more time, that just means we're going to read, talk, write, take notes about what we're going to write about, okay, and our writing is going to be an opinion writing about the 3 most courageous experiences in Cesar Chavez's life. What you think his most courageous experiences are. We'll talk about what courage and what it means to be courageous in just a second. But before we do that, we need to talk about what opinions and reasons are. So we've got a lot to talk about. So an opinion is what you think, and a reason is why you think that. Okay? So what's an opinion?
Something that we think.
It's something you think, and what's a reason? What do you think, bud?
Something that's true.
Yeah, so an opinion is what you think, and a reason is why you think that. Okay? So let's explore some examples. So I want you to listen to the directions, and then we'll talk a little bit about, okay? Then we'll actually explore it. Okay, so after school today, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Dairy Queen. And my favorite thing to get at Dairy Queen is a vanilla cone. But I need your help. I need to decide whether I want sprinkles on my cone or if I want no sprinkles, okay? So in just a minute, not yet, if you think I should get sprinkles on my ice cream cone, I want you to move to this side of the classroom, so you'll stand up and walk just a second. So if you think I should get sprinkles, if you think I shouldn't get sprinkles, walk to this side of the room. Okay, can someone tell me what the directions are? Kingston.
If you want sprinkles, go over there. If you don't want sprinkles, go over there.
Perfect. Does everyone understand?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, stand up and show me what you think I should do. So sprinkles, no sprinkles. No, do what you think. What do you think?
I don't know.
Well, if you were to go, what do you think you would get? No sprinkles? Okay, let's just stay right here. Can everyone still hear me? I really need you to pay attention. Okay? So you friends have shown me your opinion. In your opinion, you guys think I should get sprinkles. In your opinion, you think I shouldn't get sprinkles. So tell me why you think that. What is your reasoning? Who wants to share a reason why they think I should get sprinkles? Veronica.
Because they can flavor your ice cream and make it colorful.
Oh, that's a really good reason. How about one more reason? Anyone else? Why should I get sprinkles?
It'll taste more better.
It'll taste better, add more flavor. Okay, so your opinion is I should get sprinkles, and your reasoning, we've shared some reasons why you think that. Now, your opinion is I shouldn't get sprinkles. So what's some of your reasoning why I shouldn't get sprinkles? Why do you think that? Why do you think, bud?
Because it doesn't make a lot of flavor.
Yeah, like you don't think they add much flavor, like the vanilla ice cream cone has enough flavor on its own. Do you girls have a reason why you think that? Why do you think that?
Because it's maybe too much candy.
Yeah, too much sugar? Yeah, okay.
It's
Perfect.
Hard to chew.
Yeah, so you friends, again, you showed me your opinion, and some of you shared why you think that. You shared your reasoning for your opinion. Okay, can I get a thumbs up if you liked that idea? If you liked that way of explaining what opinions and reasons are? Okay, quietly move back to your seats. Okay, so remember, opinions are what you think, and reasons are why you think that, okay? So what did we notice about some of our opinions and our reasons when we did that activity. Did everyone have the same opinion? No. Okay, if we had the same opinion, did you have the same reason?
No.
No, what else should we notice about opinions and reasons? Do you notice anything else? One thing that I really like to remember about opinions and reasons is that if your friend has a different opinion than you, that's okay. You can still be friends with someone who has a different opinion, and you can still be friends with someone who has a different reason, okay? That's okay. So, again, we're going to be answering this opinion question. What do you think are the three most courageous experiences in Cesar Chavez's life? So after I read this story, I thought that this would be a great writing activity to do with this story, because he has kind of a hard life, but he has a lot of cool experiences as well. So what exactly does it mean to be courageous? To be courageous means someone has courage. Okay, when someone has courage, they make good decisions, they do good things, even if they face something that may be bad or scary, okay? So for example, you may have been courageous when you were learning how to ride a bike, okay? You made good decisions, you kept trying and trying, even though you could have gotten hurt or something like that, right? So I want you to think about a time you may have been courageous. Okay, courageous. One more time. It means to have courage, to make good decisions, even if you may face an obstacle, which means you may have something that might be in your way, may be dangerous, something like that. Can all of you think of at least one thing? Okay, I want you to turn and talk really quickly to your partner and discuss a time when you may have been courageous.
I was scared, and the time I acted because I
Hey Addie, can you remind me of one of your attention getters? Like when he says hocus pocus, and then everyone says...
Everybody focus. Everybody wait. Hocus pocus. Everybody focus.
So I say hocus pocus,
And then we say everybody focus.
Okay. Hocus pocus.
Everybody focus.
Good job. Thank you, friends, for helping me with that so we can get everyone's attention. I want just one volunteer so then we can hop right into our book. Someone I haven't heard from today. I don't think I've heard from you, bud. What's a time you were courageous? Oh, so kind of like how we talked about riding a bike, but when you learned how to ride a hoverboard. So you made good decisions. You kept trying how to learn how to ride it, even though you could have fallen. You know, you could have gotten hurt. So that was when you were courageous. Good job. Okay, we only had time for one example, but we'll come back, okay? We'll come back to, we're going to talk all about courage and being courageous today. So we're going to read this book, Harvesting Hope, the story of Cesar Chavez by Kathleen Cruel, and we're going to learn all about his life. This story is going to take us from the beginning of Cesar Chavez's life all the way until he is nice and old, okay? So I really want you to be thinking as I'm reading about some of the courageous experiences in his life. One more time, what does it mean to be courageous? I want to hear from you. What does it mean to be courageous?
Do good choices.
Good choices. Good choices even if you face like an obstacle. And what does an obstacle mean again? If you face an obstacle, what does it mean?
Maybe like getting hurt.
Yeah, like a challenge, like maybe getting hurt or something like that. Okay, let's get started. So Harvesting Hope, the story of Cesar Chavez. Until Cesar Chavez was 10, every summer night was like a fiesta. Relatives swarmed onto the ranch for barbecues with watermelon, lemonade, and fresh corn. Cesar and his brothers, sisters, and cousins settled down to sleep outside under netting to keep mosquitoes out. But who could sleep with uncles and aunts singing, spinning ghost stories, and telling magical tales of life back in Mexico? Cesar thought the whole world belonged to his family. The 80 acres of their ranch were an island in the shimmering Arizona desert, and the starry skies were all their own. It's kind of a big book to hold. Many years earlier, Cesar's grandfather had built their spacious adobe house to last forever, with walls 18 inches thick. A vegetable garden, cows, and chickens supplied all the food they could want. With hundreds of cousins on farms nearby, there was always someone to play with. Cesar's best friend was his brother Richard. They never spent a day apart. Does that kind of sound like some of you and your siblings? Cesar was so happy at home that he was a little afraid when school started. On his first day, he grabbed the seat next to his older sister Rita. The teacher moved him to another seat, and Cesar flew out of the door and ran home. It took 3 days of coaxing for him to return to school and take his place with the other first graders. So it kind of took him some convincing to go back to school, okay? Cesar was stubborn, but he was not a fighter. His mother cautioned her children against fighting, urging them to use their minds and mouths to work out conflicts. So conflicts are like problems, okay? Then, in 1937, the summer Cesar was 10, the trees around the ranch began to wilt. The sun baked the farm soil rock hard. A drought was choking the life out of Arizona. Without water for the crops, the Chavez family couldn't make money to pay its bills. There came a day when Cesar's mother couldn't stop crying. In a daze, Cesar watched his father trap their possessions onto the roof of their old car. After a long struggle, the family no longer owned the ranch. They had no choice but to join the hundreds of thousands of people fleeing to the green valleys of California to look for work. How do you think Cesar and his family are feeling? Sad. That would be really hard. So remember, be thinking of some of the courageous things in his life. Cesar's old life had vanished, so it went away. It no longer existed. Now he and his family were migrants, working on other people's farms, crisscrossing California, picking whatever fruits and vegetables were in season. When the Chavez family arrived at the first of their new homes in California, they found a battered old shed. Its doors were missing and garbage covered the dirt floor. Cold, damp air seeped into their bedding and clothes. They shared water and outdoor toilets with a dozen other families, and overcrowding made everything filthy. The neighbors were constantly fighting, and the noise upset Cesar. He had no place to play games with Richard. Meals were sometimes made of dandelion greens gathered along the road. So this is a really different life than he once lived, right? It's not as nice. They had a lot of struggles. Cesar swallowed his bitter homesickness and worked alongside his family. He was small and not very strong, but still a fierce worker. Nearly every crop caused torment, so it caused like some trouble to try to pull out of the ground. Yanking out beets broke the skin between his thumb and his index finger. Grapevines sprayed with bug-killing chemicals made his eyes sting and lungs wheeze. Lettuce had to be the worst. Thinning lettuce all day with a short-handed hoe would make hot spasms shoot through his back. Farm chores on someone else's farm instead of on his own felt like a form of slavery. The Chavez family talked constantly of saving enough money to buy back their ranch. But each sundown, the whole family had earned as little as 30 cents for the day's work. As the years blurred together, they spoke of the ranch less and less. So on this page, her author tells us something interesting about Cesar Chavez. It says, he was small and not very strong, but still a fierce worker. Fierce. I love that word. Can I hear you say fierce?
Fierce.
So in this sentence, the word fierce, describing him as a fierce worker, means he is a hard worker, okay? Despite everything, even though he's super homesick, everything, he's still a fierce worker. He's a hard worker. I would describe all of you friends as fierce workers as well, because I know you all are hard workers, especially hard workers when it comes to writing, huh? Yeah, because we are all writers in this classroom. Okay, let's continue reading. The towns weren't much better than the fields. White trade-only signs were displayed in many stores and restaurants. None of the 35 schools Cesar attended over the years, 35 schools, did you hear that? That's kind of crazy. Over the years, seemed like a safe place either. Once after Cesar broke the rule about speaking English at all times, a teacher hung a sign on him that read, "I am a clown. I speak Spanish." He came to hate school because of the conflicts, so the problems. Though he liked to learn. Even he considered his 8th grade graduation a miracle. After 8th grade, he dropped out to work in the fields full time. That's so sad. His lack of schooling embarrassed Cesar for the rest of his life, but as a teenager, he wanted to put food on his family's table. As he worked, it disturbed him that landowners treated their workers more like farm tools than human beings. They provided no clean drinking water, rest periods, or access to bathrooms. Anyone who complained was fired, beaten up, or sometimes even murdered. So like other migrant workers, Cesar was afraid and suspicious whenever outsiders showed up to try to help. How could they know about feeling so powerless? Who could battle such odds? So working in these farms was not very fun for him. Yet Cesar had never forgotten his old life in Arizona and the jolt he'd felt when it turned upside down. Farm work did not have to be this miserable. Reluctantly, he started paying attention to the outsiders. He began to think that maybe there was hope, and in his early 20s, he decided to dedicate the rest of his life for fighting for change. Again, he crisscrossed California, this time to talk to people into joining his fight. At first, out of every 100 workers he talked to, perhaps one would agree with him. One by one, this was how he started. Okay, let's just pause for just a second. I want you to think, have we read about any courageous experiences in his life so far? Just think about it, okay? And how about we just turn and talk for just a little bit so we can kind of generate some ideas, and then we'll come back whole group, okay? Do you think we've read about any courageous experiences?
Yeah, when he was fierce when his arm was hurting, but he was still strong and he still did it.
Yeah, good job. What do you think, Bud? What about when he graduated from 8th grade, even though school was really hard?
And the teacher said he's a clown and just
It was courageous of him to continue to go back to school, right?
I would be scared.
Yeah, I would too, but he still went back and he graduated 8th grade. That's really courageous. All right, hocus pocus.
Everybody focus.
Okay, let's just write one example. What is, in your opinion, what is a courageous experience that he has experienced in his life so far? What do you think, Lorena?
He was working super hard.
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
He was working super hard.
So when he works super hard. So we can write when he worked hard in the fields. So you think that's a courageous experience in his life? Okay. When he worked hard in the fields. I think fields is F-E-I, right? Or it's not F-I.
You're good.
Oh, okay. I always second guess myself when I have to write it on a poster. Okay, so what's your reason, Lorena, for this opinion? Why do you think that when he worked hard in the fields, why do you think that was courageous?
Because that's like being brave.
So he was being brave, but can you think of specifically maybe why you think that this is courageous? So being brave means he was courageous, but why do you think that working hard in the field was being brave? Was him being brave? Do you want to ask a friend for some help? Do you want to pick a friend? Veronica. Why do you think that's courageous?
Because his arm was hurting.
He was hurting, and I think I remember him saying he was homesick. Okay, so that would be a really good reason as to why you think that this was a courageous experience, okay? So he was hurting. And was homesick. Okay, I'm gonna write number 1 and then number 1. So I know that this is my first opinion and my first reason to go along with that opinion. Does that sound good? Okay, we're just gonna do one for right now.